Melissa. In this video, I'm going to show you how to print your first DTF transfer on the Uninet 100 DTF printer. So this is the sheet fed 13 by 19 max DTF printer from Uninet, and it comes with CAD links. So we're going to start from the very beginning, not the setup. If you haven't watched the masterclass on how to do the setup, then you're going to want to do that. But this is going to go through your very first print. So let's get started over in CAD link, and we will end up in just a couple of minutes with a DTF print. All right, so here we are in CAD link. Your settings will have all been set up if you've gone through the masterclass, so you really don't need to do a whole lot else now once you go to bring in your file. So we will click the open tab up here along the top menu and click open and then find the design. So you can see I have DTF options, or excuse me, you can see I have PDF options here. I also have PNG options. Both can be imported. So I'm just going to do this happy last day of school, and that's going to open up. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me a preview over here on the right side. Now, what you probably can't see is that this preview is actually going to print this DTF transfer the entire size of the 13-inch or 11-inch wide. I don't want it to be that big. I really just need it to be something like maybe 6 by 6. So I can make some adjustments to this by selecting the design itself. And then down here in the page tab, if I click open, that will then open up the job tab. And in the job tab, I can make some adjustments. You can see I can rotate, I can scale, I can put in specific dimensions, duplicate, all different types of things. In this case, I'm just going to scale this to 50%. And it's going to adjust, all right? Now, if the software is not set up for you to automatically mirror, like for example, I think I need to update my software because it's not automatically mirroring, then you just wanna click mirror. It will preview the way that it's going to send it to the printer. So just make sure everything is there, and then I'm just gonna click reset. And we're all set to go. Now I can send this to the printer. I don't have to do anything with the white. That was all set up here. You can see this is what was the basically the color profile that we set up during the initial setup of the CAD link software. So I'm just going to keep it on that, and we should be good to go. So over here in my queue list, what I'm going to do is just select it, and then up here along the top, I'm going to click print job. Now before I do, I need to make sure that I have my film set up. So let's do that. Okay, so the film can be a little challenging to know which side to print on. Okay, so you want to print on the side that feels a little bit more rough. So if you are able to kind of scratch the film, that's the side that you want to print on. Sometimes you can also kind of like look up to the light, and the side that is reflective, more reflective, is the back. Okay, so we want to print on the more matte side. So I'm going to place that so that the print side is forward. All right, and then in the software, I'm just going to click that job print button that I showed you. So you'll see in the queue that it switches to active, and then after a minute or so, it's going to then switch to printing. Okay, so give it a little bit of time. Depending on the amount of data in your job, it might take just a couple minutes. You can see it's already printing. So let's let that go, and then we'll finish up this process. Okay, so the print is done. Obviously, we didn't use nearly the amount of transfer that we have, so I'm actually going to trim this off because I can reuse it. So just be really careful because the ink is wet. The ink needs to be wet so that the film so that the powder can stick to it when we do that in this next step, okay? So I'm just going to trim this down. All right, we have our transfer. And what you can see, I'll just do this quickly, is that there is an uneven amount of white across our design. The areas that are black do not have a whole lot of white. The areas that are colored do have more white, okay? So that's what we want. That's great. We're using the least amount of white ink, which is not only the most expensive, but the one you're going to go through the fastest. We're using the least amount of white ink as possible. Okay, next step, if you're not familiar with DTF, is to put the powder on. So let's do that. And I like to use a bin with the powder. Okay, so I'm just going to put some powder into the bin, and then we are going to, I'll show you how I kind of shake it. I have to kind of have this down to a process here. Now, you also will see, and you probably saw during that video, that I turned on the curing oven. 120 degrees Celsius for 120 seconds is what you want. And I keep it in Celsius because then I can remember easily 120 seconds, 120 degrees Celsius. All right? Okay, so the powder is now in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my transfer and I'm going to kind of scoop the powder onto the transfer. Kind of hard to do it with one hand here while I'm showing you. You want to make sure that the powder covers the entire transfer, and then tap off any extra, okay? And what you're going to have now is a thin layer of powder. It's very difficult to see on the back of your transfer. This needs to be cured. This is what needs to go into the curing oven. So let's do that. Okay, so the filter is on. The filter is what is going to pull out the fumes. All right, so that's on. I'm gonna put this in here. There's a little arrow on the top of the curing oven. This is also a Uninet curing oven. There's a little arrow on the top of that if you press it, it will start the time. So once that is done, it's gonna beep, and then what you're gonna see is you're gonna have all that powder has been cured, and it's just turned into this like waxy type consistency that looks kind of like an orange peel, should feel like an orange peel too. At that point, you can either apply your transfer immediately, or they have a pretty good shelf life. So if you were going to sell your transfer, you're going to use it for later, you can do that. So you definitely want to make sure that you powder and cure and then stop the process if you are going to. You definitely need to make sure that the powder goes on while the ink is wet. So don't delay that process if you are not going to use your transfers right away. Okay, this is just about done. The oven is going to be hot. It's a hot plate. So wear a glove. To pull your transfer out of there, all right? And what you will see now is that you can not only touch it, but it has this consistency of an orange peel. And I'll show you a closer look. So from the front, this is what our design looks like. And now I can apply it to any color shirt. So if you're looking for how to apply DTF transfers, I have another video on that, but essentially 338 degrees in your heat press for 15 seconds. Okay, and then most of the DTF film is cold peel, which means after you've pressed it, let it cool completely and then peel the transfer film away. All right, so DTF transfers are great because obviously there's no cutting involved, there's no weeding involved, but there is a different process involved. But they have great stretchability. They have great, they work really well in the laundry when applied correctly. You can get really great colors. Again, one of the reasons that you want to make sure that you wait for it to be cold to peel is not only to make sure that the stick or the adhesive is as strong as possible, but also the color release is involved in that too. So if you guys are interested in how to apply this, I have another video on that, but I did want to show you how to make your first print with the Uninet 100 DTF printer. And if you're looking for where to buy a Uninet 100, a whole package or just pieces of this package, I linked to that in the description below, also up top. If you're looking for one-on-one help on DTF printing or any of the software programs that I mentioned, whether that's Silhouette Studio or CAD Link or Affinity Designer, anything like that, we also offer one-on-one help through Silhouette U. And if you're interested or you're kind of like, do I want to Silhouette U? We do offer a 7-day free trial. So make sure you check it out. All right, guys, see you later.